صباح الخير. I'm sure that I'm not going to present a very nice presentation like Dr. Mahmoud present. Presentation بتاعتي هتبقى رخمة شوية. So I will try to simplify it as much as possible. Let me to start what CIB is doing for sustainability. We started the sustainability or sustainable finance activities since 2017 when we published our first carbon footprint report for our operation that covering scope 1 and 2. And then in 2020, the bank decided to establish a sustainable finance sector and integrate the concept of sustainability and ESG principle across all the bank functions. What does it mean? It means that all the bank functions, from lending to operation, they have to be in line with the international standards related to sustainability and the different sustainability frameworks like Principle for Responsible Banking, TCFD, Climate Change, ENS, risk management, and also revenue generation from different ESG products like green bond, sustainability bonds, sustainability loans, blue bonds. And let me show you exactly what we are doing. And I will start with the governance structure of sustainable finance across the bank functions. Okay. It's not just a department that has been established in 2020. It's integrating the concept and the ESG principle across the functions, lending, corporate business banking, which is covering startups, small and medium enterprises, and also activities related to an initiative related to entrepreneurs, women in business, not only providing sustainable products, but also support through different advisory service that will enable these startups to build their own business and career. Let me to start with the governance under the concept of sustainable finance. The responsibility and the commitment of sustainability started from the board of directors. We have the board sustainability committee consists of 4 board members. Then we have our sustainable finance steering committee chaired by our CEO. Then we have our chief sustainability officer and the department that related to sustainable finance activities, and another 45% representative from different departments across the bank that like the ambassador, sustainability ambassador in all the departments. This is the first pillar. The second pillar, which is related to policy and framework architectures. CIB is committed with around 11 sustainability framework. Part of this framework that related to risk management, environmental social risk management, climate change risk management, other related to direct investment and portfolio and business opportunities on sustainable products. Let me to tell you in brief, we are committed to Net Zero Alliance. We are a signatory, and this month we're going to publish our first target report covering scope 3 for our client and selected sector. We are also committed with the Principle for Responsible Banking, Principle for Responsible Investment, Task Force for Climate Change Management, and also Equated Principle, EBRD, ESRM, Environmental Social Risk Management System, IFC, Standards for Environmental Social Risk Management System, Gender Equity Seal with the World Bank, and also the latest one that related to financial inclusion commitment with the United Nations. The second, actually our policy is published in June 2020, and the policy is covering 3 main areas. One that related to risk management. And under risk management, we have 2 parallel hands that should move hand in hand. The first line, which is related to identify all the risk associated with each transaction that associated to and have direct impact or indirect impact in environment and social aspects. The other parallel track, which is related to create the products and the financial mechanism that support to mitigate the identified risk to opportunities. And I will tell you by example, when we focus on business banking covering startups and SMEs, what kind of service we can present it to our clients to attract them for more sustainable business. The second pillar, which is related to management system, and management system, it's started by integration, all the principles for the integration of the environmental and social governance in our policies. This year, we already integrated the ESG principle in 37 policies across all the bank function, and we identified KPIs that allow us to monitor the implementation and the performance of the integration of the sustainability principle across all the function. The fourth pillar, which is related to communication and integration, we have two types of communication. The first one that it's related to internal communication, how to encourage the CIB team to work by trying to identify KPIs for each person at CIB, the part of his role at CIB, to market and implement sustainability in his own function. Let me to give you an example. If I'm an officer working under the corporate side, I have at least to have at least 10% out of the portfolio that I'm working on it in yearly basis for green finance or climate finance. And I will tell you after that how we can integrate the concept of sustainability from business perspective. It was very difficult in the beginning when we start talking about sustainability. All people that thinking that sustainability is that just to have a new planet, or to treat a wastewater, or just to make end-of-life treatment with no financial benefits. We integrated the cost-benefit analysis, and in our credit assessment, we have to have an elements, quantitative elements to measure the direct and indirect benefits of integration of sustainability. Like in any projects related to whatever the industry, food and beverage, we have to calculate the cost of greenhouse gases emission that should be included in our credit assessment. The cost, the indirect cost of the resources consumption, if it's negative or positive, how will reduce the energy consumption or water consumption, and it's part of the visibility study that should be integrated in the system to allow us, when we take in consideration the ESG, what's the direct and indirect benefit, taking in consideration the subsidies of the subsidy of the water and energy. Now it's one of the main challenges for industries for more sustainable production, and also taking in consideration the cost of environmental for the greenhouse gases which I'm going to emit due to the misuse of the resources. And it was very difficult in the beginning, but after we unified the process and the internal procedures in the bank, with the risk, with the corporate, with the business banking, now it's let's say that it's well implemented and in progress. And actually, our next sustainability report will show you in numbers the direct impact from economic benefits and also environmental and social benefits. And I will show you in my slides a few of these numbers. The fifth pillar, which is related to strategy. We established our sustainable finance strategy, which consists of 4 pillars: risk management system, including climate and environmental and social risk management, according to IFC equated principle EBRD standards. Revenue generation, which is the new innovation thinking on the possible instruments and products targeting different segments: entrepreneurs, startups, small and medium enterprises, corporate and direct investment, and microfinance. And we started last year with issuing the first green bond from private bank with $100 million, serving these different segments in different sectors: renewable energy, energy efficiency, system optimization, green buildings, energy management system, and sustainable transportation. When the beneficiary is from, as I said, different segments that we have consumers, we have startups, we have SME and corporate clients. The third pillar, which is related to ecological footprint, we are the first bank that issued our first ecological footprint, which is having land footprint, water footprint, and also carbon footprint from our own operation. We had a significant reduction in our greenhouse gases emission from operation. We have a decarbonization plan. We reduced the last year 8% of the decarbonization action plan. the 6 pillars, which is related to the innovation, and here our sustainable finance education, our academy. Our academy, we established a sustainable finance academy that tackling clients and internal CIB staff. Clients, we have several programs for corporate clients. For SME business banking, we have sustaining SME program that will also cover the startups, small and medium enterprises, in cooperation with the GIZ, and we will going to launch this program tomorrow, inshallah. For the corporate client, we have sustaining sector program. We launched it last February, that supporting clients to integrate in their normal operation the concept of sustainability and ESG, and to try to measure the benefits before and after their projects. And this service is also under the activity of technical assistance service that's offering by CIB as a grant. Okay, I'm not going to talk about risk because I think that opportunities will be much more than risk, but for risk, as I said, that we are following IFC performance standards, EBRD for performance standards, and equated principle. We already issued our annual reports related to environmental and social risk management system covering corporate, SME, clients. The TCFD climate change report, actually we are the first bank that signed the TCFD. And this year, part of our annual report, that we will have a section for climate change management system within the bank for each transaction, starting from stress testing till setting targets for the selected sectors. As I said, this is different framework that CIB is committed with. We will publish this month our first target report covering corporate clients on setting target and decarbonization for corporate portfolio. BRB, we launched last year 2 reports on the impact assessment for SME, or business banking, covering startups, and also corporate banking. Climate finance, and this is the main cake of the presentation. Actually, when we got the approval of our sustainable finance strategy as part of the corporate bank strategy, the main challenge is how to integrate new instruments that service the sustainable finance sectors with different segmentation in our corporate strategy. And we started with the climate finance. We have several instruments for climate finance targeting different sectors, and actually our first green bond framework issued in May 2021, and currently that we are updating our framework to add additional sectors and segments. Our framework issued in May 2021, covering clean water and sanitation, clean energy, industry innovation, and mainly depollution and pollution prevention, sustainable cities and green communities, climate action. And actually, all of these sectors, it's very supportive to any business. If I'm talking about startups, we have launched our first program for the startups last year, and we got funded 15 projects. It was last August, I think, or last November. Startup with a new innovation that targeting these sectors, energy efficiency, system optimization, some of them that related to service, IT service, sustainable transportation, and it was very useful for these startups to support them in preparing their business plan, visibility study, and to donate part of the loan as a grant element to support them to build their business. As I said, this is the criteria that related to our green bond: renewable energy, energy efficiency, sustainable transportation, sustainable water and water use, and green building. CIB is offering technical and financial support for supporting EDGE certification. Actually, we just published that our first client under the corporate banking group that has received EDGE certification last month with a significant reduction in water and energy consumption, reaching to 65% out of the baseline. And actually, this is the point that you are not providing them with a direct incentive, you are providing them with the know-how to reduce their expenses, their operating expenses. And by end of the day, when we're conducting the cost-benefit analysis, the client is not caring about the interest or the direct incentive that they are taking. They're caring more about how they can reach their operation, the minimum cost of the operation. The last thing, which is related to energy management system, which is mainly ISO 15001, and water efficiency. This is just like a first year impact report for the green bond. We have reduced 12,984 tons of CO2 equivalent, energy saving more than 55 million, desalinated water more than 7 million meter cube per year, wastewater treated more than 12 million meter cube. And actually, this is the variance percentage of the different type of projects under the green bond. Renewable energy is 13%, green building 12%, adaptation projects, and this is one of the very important points. Usually, adaptation project is not a bankable project. Yeah, I mean, if you are willing to finance adaptation, it's a little bit not attractive from banking perspective, because usually adaptation, there is no visible or direct financial impact from adaptation projects. But we have different type of adaptation projects, like water desalination, electric meters, that can have very direct positive impact on the financial aspects of the projects, and it can work as a bankable project. And actually, under the green bond, we have a very successful stories under adaptation. Special climates, 25%. This is what we are offering under the climate finance, technical assistance to our clients. As I said, corporate, SME, startups. We selected 4 sectors in 2021: food and beverage, textile, energy efficiency and renewable energy for commercial retrofit, and green buildings. We identified, we already have other sectors that the sector studies in progress related to plastic, paper, telecom, sustainable transformation, and pharma, and cement industry. Actually, it was very nice when we conducting this sector studies, and we started to have a walkthrough audit to our clients to identify the potential opportunities for them when they integrated the concept or the principle of ESG, what they can achieve from financial perspective, from technical perspective, from environmental perspective. And it was very good when we found that during this field visits in 2021, for only 4 clients, that we identified 17 projects with 4 clients, with total investment needs $62 million US dollars. Sorry, 62 million EGB, with total projects identified for renewable energy, energy saving 16 million kilowatt hour, and CO2 emission reduction equivalent 18,000. Actually, this number for us, we should recalculate this number and to see where is the potential. The potential is to go beyond the normal business. You have to think out of the box. What type of projects and what type of opportunities that you can do in each sector to have more efficient industry. This is one of the examples that this is our CIB building in New Cairo, a new capital. We also applied for certification. Our building had saved 41% out of the energy consumption, 29.6% out of the water consumption, and 25% out of the material saving, with greenhouse gases emission reduction 805. Actually, this is one of the good examples when we try to convince clients that greening their business is not costly. We usually used to listen from people working under construction and buildings and real estate that the cost of green building is much more the cost of normal building. No, we got the evidence by cases, by success stories, that the cost of saving from integrating the green building principles and the certification, it will be much lower cost than having normal building. We have several programs with the development partners like EU, European Investment Bank, and AFD. We are participated in different programs like Egyptian Pollution Abatement Program for large enterprises, and also we have sub-component related to SMEs. The last slide, which is related to our ecological footprint. Our ecological footprint is covering water consumption, land, and carbon footprint from our own operation. This is the last slide, which is related to CIB commitments, GRI, SASB, UN Global Compact, UN Gender Seal, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IFC, Equated Principle, BRI, UNEP FI, Net Zero, TCFD, Principle for Responsible Banking. And this is also our NDCs and rating agency, CDB. That's it. Thank you.